watching Alaska's news source.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Glad you're here. Tracy, I'm glad you're here.
I think I'm glad you're here,
You bring
too.
such a fun
I'd be all
energy.
lonely.
Yeah. You know, we've been hitting the road all this week with our road tripping series. We know that. You've been doing it. I've been doing it. We've seen some interesting sights and some unusual ones.
Well, maybe none as unusual as what reporter Lauren Maxwell and photojournalist Rachel McPherron encountered in the southeast community of Haines.
Haines has many notable landmarks, but there's one in the center of town you might not expect. It's a 20-foot hammer, meant to welcome visitors to the world's first hammer museum. Housed in a historic building that is more than 100 years old, the museum features a collection of more than 2,000 hammers. They line the walls and even the ceiling. Big hammers, tiny hammers, and even a hammer with multiple heads. There's also an ancient hammer from Egypt, which the museum claims is 5,000 years old.
And having access to this allowed the Egyptians to actually build the pyramids of Giza.
Let me stop you for a moment.
Yeah.
How do you know this is a hammer and not a rock?
So there's actually very little difference because original hammers are rocks, basically.
Our tour guide, Brandon Wilkes, knows a lot about hammers.
The reason he made this one was because nails used to be very expensive.
He loves to share that knowledge with the thousands of people who visit the Hammer Museum every year. He tells us the collection was started by a man named Dave Paul, who lived off the grid in Haines.
So he built his own cabin, he wanted to live away from it all, and so he started amassing a collection of hammers. And eventually, it kind of grew to where his entire cabin was covered with hammers. And his wife said, that's very nice, but maybe do something with these or we're going to have an issue.
So in 2002, the world's first hammer museum was born. Wilkes says hammers play an important part in history.
You would hammer it closed again.
Take, for example, these specialized ones that were used to open cigar boxes, but mostly disappeared after they were melted down for metal during World War II.
It's just gone and almost nobody knows about it, and you will probably never see one of these again after you leave this building.
But if you paid a visit here, you know it now. And the people we spoke with were glad they came.
Talk to my wife, she'd give you a different answer, but I think it's fantastic.
Out of a 10, I would definitely say an 8. I like it. I like the fact that there's just so many different kinds of hammers. Who would have thought?
What started as a collection of humble tools has grown into an attraction all its own. The Haines Hammer Museum celebrated its 20th anniversary last year. It's open for visitors from May through September. Road tripping in Haines for Alaska's News Source, I'm Lauren Maxwell.